So shortly, I will try to be so brief. So in the research paper, first title can be, let it be in a smart way. Try to have some, abbreviations, right, if possible. So I said no once, www.amazon.com, World Wide Web. So likewise, try to have some catchy words or make your title in an attractive way, specific, measurable, realistic, trending, like that. Please have that. Then reframe the title, even if you have fixed the earlier before publication. Let your title be smart. Second, abstract. In abstract, most people will read thoroughly the entire abstract. The journal, the publisher, either they will read the entire paper or not. The reviewer will read the entire abstract. So abstract should cover the first paragraph. What made you to choose the title? Why did you choose the title? Simple. Second paragraph. How are you going to carry? How did you carry out the research? Now it is past. It is mostly present tense or mostly past tense. How did you carry out the research? What are the ways you followed for collecting data, analyzing data? So what you did. Third, what are the expected outcomes? So this should be there in abstract. So please read. Once as soon as you complete, just don't upload just like that. Read and check. Right? And try to have some good terminology. Right? Don't have the vocabulary like oral flow. Don't have in the words. So try to change and see the grammatical error, all these things. And after the abstract, key terms, at least 7 to 10 key terms related to the entire research. So next is, what is there next? Next is introduction. Introduction, don't give the company introduction. Don't give what is Infosys. Don't give what is whatever the company you've taken for analysis. That's not expected. In introduction, 3 paragraphs. First paragraph, introduce the title to the reader creatively in a novel way. Second paragraph, what is your perception on the title? Researcher perception on the title. Our perception on the title. Because as soon as everyone see financial statement analysis, everyone will mean in different form, different way. So what is your thought? What is your, under what perception you carry out? So that is the second paragraph in introduction. Third paragraph, have some facts and figures. Facts and figures, whichever you collect from any way. Facts and figures for carrying out this research with related to that company, facts and figures, or that industry. That is, it is not an institution, that industry. So introduction should have 3 paragraphs. First paragraph, introduce the title in a novel way to the reader. Then second paragraph, what is the researcher perception on the title? Third paragraph, some facts and figures. So it can be even mingled. I no need to be so strict in 3 paragraphs, but it can be in other way also. But introduction, it should be covered in all. Second, literature review. Literature review, which means this is the first step of the research. You are going to review what others said in your related area, in your title or related area. So already they have published. So take from the recent journals, recent publications. It can be even newspaper article, newspaper clippings also. Don't say it is not available. Definitely it used to be available, at least in related area. So take from the recent years, 2022, even 2023, if possible, 2022, 2021, 2020. Don't go for 1982, right, before our birth. Don't go. Right? Some people have gone like that. So because that used to get immediately that you will get it. Right? So don't do that. So go in the from a recent term. At least have 10 reviews. At least have 10 reviews. 10 reviews from the recent years. Those are I got full review. I got perfect. It's only 7. Yeah, that could be agree. So have 10 reviews. A research paper, minimum 10 reviews. If it is a project, 50 reviews they will ask. So So it's a paper, at least 10 reviews. Right? Your quality journal will accept immediately 10 reviews, right? In your descending order. When you take the review, collect the author name, period of publication, journal name, title of the research, and page number. From to page number. These 5 things have to be there in this review of literature. I will repeat again. Author name, period of publication, March 2022. Period means not exact date. Mostly it used to be in month or year. Some people used to have quarterly publication. So accordingly they will have. So period of the publication. Third, journal in which it has published. Fourth, title of the research, under which he has found. We have reviewed title of the research. Journal, title. Fifth one, page number. Page number. So these have to be there in the reference at last, right? In the review of literature, you don't need to go through the entire research paper to review. You can read the entire abstract, go to the entire last findings. If you go through, that's enough, right? So from there, copy the important line whichever is related to your research and paste it. After pasting, try to rephrase, which means not copying pasting alone, right? For example, Krishna Khan 2022 expressed that. So like that you can add something and then put up those copy paste in your quotation or in a line in such a way that you have reviewed, right? In between also you can add some line on at least few sentences. Am I clear? So not exactly copy pasting and putting the name alone. No. Have some write your some sentences, please add. Am I clear about literature? What is next after literature review? What is next after literature? Problem statement. So let the problem statement in a negative form. So in problem statement, in research we call this as hypothesis. Problem statement means it does not mean that it's an issue. It can be an issue, but it is a mere negative assumption of the researcher while doing the research. Or before starting the research, he has some assumption. Through that he or she. That is the problem statement. Put up in your box only 3 lines. So that is called as null hypothesis. Null hypothesis. Then you can have many alternative hypotheses. Null hypothesis is denoted by HO. Alternative hypothesis, it can be H1, H2, H3. For the same problem, there may be many solutions, many alternatives. So it can be one or many. It can be many. Right? But null hypothesis, it could be only one. So that is the problem statement. Then what is next? Objective of the research. Right. While framing the objective, put up in the bulletin point. Start with to study, to understand, to analyze, to interpret, to advocate, to examine, to criticize. So like that, you can use maximum 3 objectives. Some people have come out with 10 objectives. It's not possible to cover the entire objectives in your research paper. It can be covered in your thesis. Max 2 or 3 objectives are core objectives. Even if you have many objectives, try to summarize that and make it in 2 or 3 statements. Start with 2. And please understand, when you use the words, don't use colloquial words. Right? Use with your understanding from whatever you are going to use within the research. For example, a student research paper is there. In objective, it is there to assess the efficiency by using profitability ratio. The statement itself wrong. Efficiency cannot be assessed by profitability. Is that right? No? So only efficiency can be assessed by turnover ratios. So the statement itself, please understand. But you have written colloquially through your some oral things you have written. Please, the objective should be so specific and it should be related to the entire research. And after that, after objective, what do you need to do? What is that? Research methodology. Is that right? So in methodology, cover four things. First thing, what type of research? What type of research? There are many types, but mostly the research paper contains descriptive research. Whatever is there, I am going to describe it with my analysis and interpretation. That's called a descriptive. I am not going to change anything. So mostly the financial statement analysis comes in descriptive research. Some people may have an explorative research, which means something is there, but I am going to explore something new, come out with new theory. That is also maybe possible. So some people may come out with something called deductive research. Deductive means theory says this. Is that applicable? Is that oriented to the real life? That's called a deductive. There is another type, inductive research, which means start with our real life and create a new theory. Connect and prove or disprove the existing one and come out with a new theory. That's the inductive. There are many types, but most of our research is like describing what it is. You can't change it, what happened last 5 years back, 2 years back. So that's called a descriptive research. You may use the word, this is a type, it's a descriptive research. Right? Why it is descriptive research? You can say in one line. With respect to your research, not from the meaning from the Google, no. So some people used to take what is secondary data from Google, they make a line. Don't do that. Because everyone knows that. It is there in book, it is there in website, what is secondary data, what is primary. No need to explain those things to the reader. It is purely a research paper. So in research methodology, first one, what type of research it is. Second one, what data you need. What data, is that primary data, secondary data or both? Right? If it is primary data, what are the sources? If it is secondary data, what are the sources? What period it covers? Define. Then third one, sampling. Without these words, the reviewer used to check this sampling. Right? So what type of sampling you have taken? Company was running for about 25 years, but I have taken only for 5 years, recent 5 years. So sampling, so 5 years I have taken. There are many sampling, we can assume that we have convenience sampling. Because as per our convenience, we have taken few financial statements and used for analysis. So convenience sampling. So you can say under convenience sampling method, I have collected 5-year financial statement from this year to this year and used it for analysis. So there are many sampling, random sampling. Right? Convenience sampling, cluster sampling, there are many samplings, you can explore those things, accordingly you can apply it. First is type of research. Second, data, define the data whatever you require for the research. Third, define the data and how are you going to collect, what are the sources. Third, sampling. Fourth, which tool you are going to use for analysis. Don't describe those tools. What is horizontal analysis? What is common size statement? No need to say. Just say which are the tool you are going to, which are the framework you are going to use for analysis. Am I clear? Research methodology. Only 4 paragraphs. Four things need to be covered. Can be in one paragraph, but it has to be covered. Is that clear? What is next? After research methodology, analysis and interpretation. Quality journal always takes the analysis interpretation as a body of the entire report. Restrict the number of tables. Even if you have many tables, let it be in somewhere annexer, but you can use the quantitative analysis within your description. Only analytical tables are allowed. Don't use the raw tables. Analytical table, that too restricted. Don't have many tables. 12 tables is not allowed. For example, I say 3 or 4 tables in your research paper is allowed. Synchronize, try to synchronize all the ratios in one table. Don't take that table into your one lengthy page. It's not a small table. Right. And then your analysis and interpretation. Analysis is what it is, what is there in different form of ratios. Then interpretation, what is the impact of those. Analysis and interpretation, let it be in a descriptive way. Use quantitative, whatever you took from the analytical. So if it is a graph, use only 2 or 3 graphs, and that too not lengthy graph, right? For all tables and graph, put up the source under that source, right? Secondary data or annual report of Infosys. Chart and table, under that you need to have source. Source, don't say secondary data. Secondary data means which secondary data, which year, or from to year, company, likewise you need to put up the source. Analysis and interpretation. After analysis and interpretation, so it will be goes around 3 to 4 pages. Right? And then go for finding. Finding is the filtration of analysis and interpretation. If you have your interpretation skill is so less, then your finding will not get. It's a juice of many fruits. Findings. Findings, let it be in bulletin form with some references or numbers. Don't say only descriptive lines, sentence alone. Use some numbers, whichever you got in analysis and interpretations, come out with findings. Findings is the juice of the entire fruits, what you used in analysis and interpretation. And then recommendation. Recommendation is the taste of the juice. So recommendation should be tasty, no? It should be useful, right? So recommendation is going to talk. If the company people sees that, right? If it is so generic or why this research has done, yes. Okay. So the recommendation should be strong and should accommodate all your logics, researcher logics, and along with the data. Don't say improve efficiency is the recommendation. You can say that, but have logic behind that. Since it is there and stock is there in that level, in that ratio, and GP is more but stock is turnover is less, so they can improve their efficiency. Likewise, you can use your logics in your recommendation also. After that, limitation of the study, not limitation of the company. Some of you have put limitation of the company. No, limitation of your research. So this research is done for a short period as part of our course. And so if it is something else like a 6 months intensive period, the research would have been different. So this is a limitation. So future researcher may overcome this. That's called a limitation and way forward. So what are the limitations? So we have collected only 5 years data. Out of this, 4 are audited, 1 is unaudited, since there's a recent one. So that could be one limitation. So this has been seen from the perspective of a learner, not from the perspective of an applier. So if the next future research may be done from the perspective of the industrial people, that can be a limitation. I am saying only an example, don't repeat the same thing. So this analysis is done from the rural perspective, you can say, and just based on your research, you can say, from rural perspective. Because some people used to triangulate with the culture, right, capacity or the context, rural, urban, slums, right? If you are doing so, you can say under that limit. So likewise, you can do limitations. That could be in bulletin point and how it can be overcome further by the future research. Last, conclusion. In conclusion, you are going to say the result. Even instead of conclusion, you can say result. Some people used to say result, no conclusion, because it never ends. So some people feel that, so they will come out with a title called the research, some heading called the research, result. So either approve or disapprove the null hypothesis which you have proved based on your data. Right? So if you are disagreeing, then which are the alternative hypothesis? It's agreed by your data, your research. Not your own perception, it's data have to say. Research. Last you need to say whether the hypothesis is accepted or rejected. That is the result. Then in that you can come out with the other few paragraphs. If it is accepted, then what is that? Small paragraph. So that's it. Conclusion.